No.
Hello, and welcome to the class of 2025. My name's Mr. Kiff. Today I'm here to tell you a little bit about Blue Hills and what Blue Hills has to offer. And with me, I have a couple of our right students, Matt and Chris. How you guys doing?
Good.
Good.
All right. So first of all, I'd like to tell you three things that I really love about Blue Hills. The first thing that I love about Blue Hills is we bring students together from 9 different communities. So you're going to have the opportunity to meet some people that you wouldn't otherwise meet. Second thing that I really love about Blue Hills, we have 17 different career tech programs. So no matter what your likes are, no matter what your interests are, we have a program that's going to be right for you. The third thing that I really love about Blue Hills is the fact that we prepare our students not only to go to college, but also to go right out into the workforce doing something that they love if that's what they decide to do. Now, the first thing we'd like to tell you about is the chance to go through our exploratory program during freshman year. This is an opportunity that our freshmen have to explore 9 of our different career tech programs so that they can find the program that's right for them. Now, Maddie, could you tell us a little bit about your exploratory experience?
Of course. So coming in freshman year, obviously, as many of you probably will be, I was a little nervous. So exploratory was an amazing way to get to know a bunch of other students. And my experience, I actually really enjoyed it. I tried to keep an open mind as much as possible, and I chose to explore a few different programs that I didn't think I would necessarily be going into, but I wanted to try just to make sure I got a little bit of everything. So, for example, I went into heating and ventilation, welding, metal fab, what else? Construction, auto repair. And while they didn't end up being my first choice, I did really enjoy seeing how the different programs work. And I think it was an amazing way to really see what would fit for me and figure out what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And while I didn't end up going into all of the programs that I explored, obviously you can only choose one. I think it was an amazing way to find new skills and new things that I would enjoy, even though I wouldn't be doing it for the rest of my life.
That's great. Thank you, Maddie. So, Chris, how about you? What was your exploratory experience like?
Hi. So my exploratory experience was similar to Maddie's. I was able to not judge everything from the beginning, but I was still nervous going into all the vocational programs and exploring them. But I really enjoyed them, such as construction as well. I enjoyed it. It was a great environment. I felt like I was able to be myself and succeed there. But going into it, I chose cosmetology because you can only choose one, like Maddie said. But I enjoyed it all. And it was a really fun time to really get into the habit of going into it into my next year, which is my sophomore year, so I can be already prepared for it.
That's great. Thank you, Chris. So just a little bit more about that exploratory. What it is, it's an every other week thing. So you would get to go into one program for 5 days. You'll be in that program for the whole week to really get the full experience of it. The following week, you would go and take all your academic courses. Now, while I bring up the academic courses, I think it's important that you know we have all of the academic courses here at Blue Hills. We offer them all. We have our AP courses, our honors courses, our college prep courses. We also have team classes and resource classes. So wherever level you're at academically, we have all of the levels here for you to be able to pick and choose which ones you want to do to prepare yourself for your road down the future. Now, we have a lot of clubs and activities. So I'd like to have Maddie tell her story a little bit about some clubs and activities that she's involved in.
Right. So I, since freshman year, have been part of the cheerleading squad, both football and basketball. So I do it for 2 seasons out of the year. And then I've also done track for a few seasons. So I consider myself pretty involved as much as I can be. I've filled up all my seasons, so that's really not much else I can do in way of sports. We do offer all of the sports here, so I'm sure you can find something that you enjoy and want to take part in after school. So yeah, the sports and activities here are really amazing. And if sports aren't your thing, we also have a bunch of different clubs that you can be a part of. For example, I'm part of National Honor Society, which is another good club to be a part of. Looks good on college applications, and it's another good way to spend your time. So yeah, those are a few of the things I'm involved in.
That's great. Thank you, Maddie. Chris, how about you? What's your experience with some clubs and activities here at Blue Hills?
So with my experience, I dibbled and dabbled in many different things. I started doing track my freshman year. I did cheer my freshman year as well. But majority of my time is taken up by Skills USA and doing that. So yeah, that's pretty much my experience.
Well, Chris, could you tell me a little bit about that skills you just mentioned? What exactly is that activity?
Oh, I love that you mentioned that. Skills USA is a student-led organization that I've been a part of since sophomore year. But I was able to get a leadership position my sophomore year as the Eastern Region Vice President, and now serving as the State Vice President. So I'm able to represent the state of Massachusetts for CTE schools. It's an organization that is led for the students and by the students. You're able to compete in your vocational program. For example, for me, I would compete in anything that's under cosmetology. It's a really great way to gain some skills in networking and more preparing yourself for the world of works. And it's just such a great opportunity. I've been given the chance to travel to Washington, D.C., Kentucky, Martha's Vineyard for many different occasions just to see around and gain those skills.
That's great. Thank you, Chris. So to finish off on sports, we have all of the sports that you can think of. We offer our sports from freshman level all the way up to the varsity level. I'm also a varsity football coach and a varsity rugby coach. So whatever sport you're interested in, we're going to have the sport that you would like. Now, we do also offer free buses. So the buses will pick you up in the morning and bring you to school. And if you're involved in any of these after-school activities or sports that we talked about, the buses will also take you home in the evening. So that's kind of a big advantage here. Now, something else we'd like to talk about today is a great opportunity called Co-op. This is a chance where some of our juniors and seniors have the opportunity to go out into the real world in the shop that they pick, and they're able to start working their junior year instead of coming into school during their program week. So, Maddie, could you tell us a little bit about that opportunity?
Yeah, of course. So, as I said before, I'm in the Drafty and CAD program, so we deal with architecture, interior design, mechanical design, everything like that. So I actually went out and got a job in the mechanical drafting field. My official title is an electromechanical engineer, which I think is pretty cool to have a job with that title while I'm still in high school. So yeah, on my vocational weeks, I go to work. I work a full 30-hour week or more if I can. And I get paid just like I would in the real world. So it's really like starting your career while you're still in high school, which I think is a great opportunity that Blue Hills gives us, because a lot of students have to wait till either after high school or after college. And we're here 17, 18, sometimes 16 years old starting our careers, which I think is incredible and an amazing opportunity that Blue Hills affords us.
That's great. It's also a good opportunity if the student is going to college to be able to work and help themselves pay for that college tuition while they start college. So that's a pretty cool opportunity that we offer here at Blue Hills. Now, Chris, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and your program and what you're in?
So I'm in the cosmetology program. I love it. It's been a journey, but I've gained so many new skills in that program of learning how to communicate well with others and professionalism and key things that I need and key skills that I need to be successful in my field. So I'm planning to go into the field of dermatology, but it's still going to be useful to have those skills and be a little bit more ahead than some students that I'm going to be competing with. So, yeah.
That's great. Thank you, Chris. So we're telling you a lot about Blue Hills today. Now, for you to be able to experience and have the chance at any of these opportunities, you do have to apply to Blue Hills. So we do have an application deadline of December 18th. So it's important that if you want to try to take advantage of this school, you need to get that application in. Now, the way you're going to do that is you're going to go right on our website, bluehills.org. You're going to see an icon that says register now. You can click right on that. It'll bring you to the registration. get that filled out. You want to get that filled out as soon as possible. We are only able to accept 240 to 250 students. Now, we average around 600 applicants a year. So how do you get in, you might ask? Well, how that works is once you get that application in around early January, you're going to receive notification from us. We're going to set up an interview where you're able to sit down for a one-on-one interview with one of our admissions team. They're going to ask you a series of questions. We're going to look at some of the 7th and 8th grade, your grades and your conduct, your attendance, stuff like that. It takes everything into consideration. So again, December 18th to get that application in, that is the deadline. Now, just because you fill the application out does not mean you need to attend Blue Hills or that you have to attend Blue Hills. It just means you're keeping your options open. You've heard a lot of cool things that Blue Hills has to offer you. I'd like to tell you just a little bit about my story. I came to Blue Hills from the town of Braintree. Now, I didn't know about Blue Hills before I came to something called our open house. I came up to the open house. I was able to see some of the programs where students were working with their hands. You know, that's one of the things that we offer is programs where students are doing the work. They're really figuring out what each program has to offer. And when I saw that, it really grabbed my attention. When I was young, I liked to work with my hands. If the chain fell off my own bike when I was riding it, I flipped it over and I put the chain on. Things like that. I always worked with my father when I was younger. So Blue Hills was the right school for me. Blue Hills is the right school for Maddie and Chris, as you just heard from them. So today I'd like to finish up by just saying, get that application in by December 18th, and good luck, and we hope to hear from you soon.